Hi friends, this is Lokesh Pathak with you again, and today it is our first class of Constitutional Law of India. So the Constitutional Law of India, it is based on the Constitution of India. Now many of us, we might have seen or we might have studied earlier in different courses and different classes about the Constitution of India. So now what's different here? The difference here is the approach and perspective. Because as a law student, you have to see the legal aspect of Constitution of India. And when it goes to legal aspect, we should know about the duties as well as rights. So now we are going to analyze the Constitution of India in terms of the citizens' rights and duties, and on the same time, state rights and duties. So this interpretation will govern now onwards when you will see the Constitution of India from the perspective of a lawyer. So that is why the name of the course is not Constitution of India, it is Constitutional Law of India. So in this first lecture of today we'll see about the definition of constitution, what is constitutional law, and what are the salient features of Indian constitution. What is the difference between the Indian constitution from the constitutions of other countries? Indian Constitution. When we talk about the Constitution can be defined as a document having a special legal sanctity which sets out the framework and the principal functions of the organs of government of a state and declares the principles governing the operations of those organs. Now, if you see this definition, it is very easy to remember if you classify this definition into various parts. So what are the highlighted words in the definition? That is, the first word is a document having a special legal sanctity. So the first term which you should remember while remembering the definition of the constitution is it has a special legal sanctity. The second thing is it sets out the framework. The second important word is the framework and the principal functions. Third important word is principal functions. So it's a document having a special legal sanctity 1, which sets out the framework 2, and the principal functions 3. Now what else? Now the principal functions of the organs. Fourth important word is organ. Of the organs of government of a state. Fifth important word. So fourth and fifth both are combined, which says the principal functions of the organs of government of a state and declares the last one is the principles governing the operations of those organs. So the definition is divided into 6 basic parts if you want to remember it. The first is a document having a special legal sanctity. 2, which sets out the framework. 3, and the principal functions. Of 4, organs of 5, government of a state, and declares the 6 principles governing the operations of those organs. So this way you have to remember this standard definition. So as the definition says, now we'll interpret the meaning. It is having a special legal sanctity. It supersedes all the statutes and norms in the country. So it has a special legal sanctity which sets out the framework and the principal function. Framework is the skeleton. So it determines the skeletons and the principal functions of all the organs of the government of a state. And also what it does, it declares the principle which governs the operations of those functions. So if you see this definition, it determines the skeleton first thing, then it determines the principal functions of the organs of the state, what they have to do, what are their rights and duties, and at the same time what are those organs. For those organs also it determines the principles what will govern the operations of those organs. So this is important when you talk about the constitution. Now what is constitutional law? The definitions derive from the definition of constitution itself, because constitutional law topic has been taken out from the constitution. The constitutional law is what? It's a rule which regulates the structure of principal operations of principal organs of government and their relationship. So it just elaborates what constitution says. It is basically a rule which regulates the structure of principal organs of government and their relationship. So this is about the constitutional law. Now what are the salient features of Indian constitution? What makes it different from the constitution of other countries? The very first and the principal difference is that Indian constitution is world's lengthiest constitution. There is no other constitution bigger than the Constitution of India. As an overall, it has 8 schedules, 22 parts and 395 articles. I'm repeating, Indian constitution has 8 schedules, 22 parts and 395 articles. Now you have to remember the nature of the constitution. It is determined by 5 components, which is sovereign, socialistic, secular, democratic, republic. So you can remember these 5 with the word SSSDR. So SSSDR is for sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Sovereign, which is called in Hindi as Samprabhu. Samprabhuta is the right spirit. It means it has a supreme authority which will determine the rights and duties. Socialist, it is having the socialist principle. Secular, it's not related to any religion, while it is common to all the religions, which is called in Hindi as Dharma Nirpeksh. Then democratic. Democracy, as you are aware, it's a rule of people, by the people, for the people. And here, the rule from the people is through the elected candidates of the public. So that is the meaning of democratic. And republic is again in Hindi, which is called Prajatantra, means the rule of the people. So you have to remember the first basic point of the salient features of Constitution of India is it is the world's lengthiest constitution, have 8 schedules, 22 parts, 395 articles, and the 5 characteristic features of this can be remembered with SSSDR, where S is for sovereign, S is for socialist, S again is for secular, D is for democratic, and R is for republic. Now the second important feature or salient feature of Constitution India is it is based on the parliamentary form of government. In general, there are 2 forms of government. One is parliamentary and one is presidential. Although we have a president of India, but it has a parliamentary form of government where president is elected by the candidates which are elected by the people. So the ruling or the functionary authority here is a parliament. Now, the third important point is that it's a unique blend of rigidity and flexibility. This you are going to witness when we go further in the subject. You will see that there are very rigid principles, but there are flexibilities awarded to the people of the India. There are statutes, there are rights and duties, but at the same time, there are some flexible options, seeing the practical application of those statutes and rules and laws. So that blend you will see when you go further in the Constitutional Law of India, that it is a unique blend of rigidity and flexibility. Fourth important thing, salient feature with Constitution of India is that it has fundamental rights. Now part 3 of the Constitution of India, it talks about the fundamental rights. And to enforce these rights, there are remedies in the form of writs, which are mentioned in Article 32 of the Constitution of India that we will see. The fifth salient feature is the directive principles of state policies, which are mentioned from Article 36 to 51 of the Indian Constitution, which are directive principles of state policies. These are not the statutes, but these are needed to be used by the government in making the laws and statutes. So these are the basis of those laws. It is a duty of the state or government to include the directive principles while formulating the laws. Another important salient feature is independent judiciary. India's judiciary is having its own authority to take into decisions. Then it has a single citizenship concept. Then the important one is the fundamental duties. So as of now, the fundamental duties basically are included in Article 51A of the Constitution, and these are the duties when the Constitution talks about giving the rights to the citizens or non-citizens. It talks about the fundamental duties also, which each and every citizen of the India has to take care or he has to provide. While you claim certain rights, you have to follow certain duties. So these duties, as of now, these are 11 duties. Actually, White 42nd Amendment of Constitution in year 1976, there existed 10 duties, which was revised in the 86th Amendment of Constitution in year 2002, they become 11 duties. So you remember that 10 to 11 duties, when it was made, the 10 duties were made in 42nd Amendment in year 1976, while the 11 duties were introduced in year 2002 wide 86th Amendment of Constitution of India. Now, a very important feature of Indian Constitution is the judicial review. The Constitution of India talks about the judicial review. It facilitates to its citizen the right to have a review of the judiciary and the laws, and they can always be changed. So this is another example of rigidity with flexibility. While you have rigid laws, at the same time you have flexibility to amend those laws. One of such example from the case law with regard to Indian Constitution is the case of A.K. Gopalan versus the State of Madras. It's AII 9050 case. In that case, the Article 13 of the Constitution itself, it was amended. So this is an example of judicial review. Another example is the case of Keshwanand Bharti versus the State of Kerala, which is AIR 1973 case. In that case, it was held that judicial review can't be destroyed by amending constitution. Means you cannot amend the constitution to spoil or to remove the spirit of judicial review from it. It cannot be destroyed. Now there are two other important cases with regard to the significance of judicial review in the perspective of Constitution of India. One such case is Kerala Bar Hotels Association versus State of Kerala. It is AIR 2016 case. In that case, it was held that no judicial review should happen in policy matters. So it restricts the judicial review in case of policy matters. Another case is Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board versus Sterilo Industries Limited. It is AIR 2019 case where it was held that there should not be any judicial review by statutory authority. So these are the case laws related to judicial review, and seeing the volume of the cases which we discussed in this topic, you can understand the significance of judicial review in the context of Indian Constitution. So this was all about the Constitution. Like the introduction, we discussed about the definition and how to remember it. You must divide it into 6 parts. Then we discussed about the Constitution of India, the constitutional law of India, the definition. Then we seen the salient features of Indian Constitution, where we have seen that it is world's lengthiest constitution. We have seen that it's based on the parliament form of government. It's a unique blend of rigidity and flexibility. We discuss about the fundamental rights included in it, then directive principles of state policies, then independent judiciary, single citizenship, fundamental duties, and then in the last, judicial review. So these all points you should remember for writing a very good answer for a question if it comes that what is the Constitution of India and what are its salient features. So that is all for this lecture. In the next class, which is second class of this subject, we will discuss about the nature of Indian Constitution. We will have a debate on whether it should be a federal form or it is a quasi-federal form. So we'll first see what are the characteristics of a federal constitution, and then we will analyze the Indian Constitution in view of those characteristics, that whether it is federal or quasi-federal. So thanks for attending the class. Stay tuned and subscribe to my channel to have a proper insight in legal matters and legal topics. I'll try my best to take care of your requirements. Thank you. Bye.